Hello Ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a grounded update video. I know it's been a while guys, but as I said, if there's not a lot of brand new content, then I'm not necessarily going to be doing grounded every single day. But I'm so glad we've got new stuff to talk about today. Last night, the developers announced they've got PTS servers that have gone up. These are public test servers that will give us a preview of what to expect when the next big update drops. Included in that PTS server is this. Zip lines are going to be in the game, and all of this content looks likely it's going to be launching at some point next week. Why next week? Well, it seems like they're going to give themselves a week to test all the brand new stuff they've added. So what have they done? They've pretty much revamped the HEDGE area. The HEDGE is now some proper content. It's going to take a good couple of hours to get through it all, and going around the secret labs, they've added a whole host more. There's more enemies. The TASE-T are going to be running around this area a lot more as well, and all in all, it's a lot more harder, a lot more difficult, a lot more challenging, but also lots more rewards. You're going to find lots of science points. You'll also find some new scabs too, and obviously you'll be able to progress the story a little bit more as well as you try and power up the laboratory in this area. Go check out the live stream I did if you want to see how I completed it all, or wait for some smaller short videos showcasing all the new stuff. Today though, we're going to go over all the patch notes so you guys know what to expect when that update drops. As I said, I'm predicting next Tuesday or Wednesday. Obviously the recording of this is like a week away from it. So what is going to be in the new game? You have got the big changes. The HEDGE has been revamped with new content. The zip lines. They've also added something called the spinning wheel. When you get web now, it's no longer just web that you can use straight away. You're going to have to put it into a crafting machine called the web spinner or a spinner, and that will make proper silk rope. You're going to need this for the zip lines. You'll find zip lines in the world where you can just simply put the rope inside it and you'll be able to use them, or you will be able to craft and make your own anchor points, and you'll be able to pretty much set zip lines wherever you want, so you'll be able to get across the whole map a lot quicker, a lot easier. There's a few issues with that though. You can only go down them, so if it's on a level you won't maybe go as quick or as fast, and you can't go up them, so it's kind of maybe just one-way travel, but still it will help a lot of people, I think, get around a bit quicker. They've got new signs in the game as well. Looks like you're going to earn some new chips and you'll unlock some new signs, and these signs you can use to put things like spider pictures, pirate picture, colours or arrows. I'm hoping they'll add a little bit more to it in the future. It'd be nice if we can have them pretty much like Minecraft where you could put all sorts of stuff in them, but I guess they've got that with the arm signs. They've also got some new landmarks, the Frankenline, and then we've got things like the jack-o'-lantern landmark, the candy corn food item. That's been added as part of the Halloween update, so it looks like the game is going to be updated when we've got seasonal events, even if it's just something small. I like that. You can see the hedge here as well. It's got all the diseased leaves on it. That's another big change. And yeah, you can see all the progress being made with the TASE-Ts, lots around this area as you're going to be exploring. They've also got new spider webs that stick to unsuspecting players and critters, so these pretty much will keep you there, and they'll kind of make you move around a little bit as well. So they'll catch your fall if you drop onto them from now on from a great height, and you might even be able to get a little bit of motion out of them. I'm hoping they'll make it like Spider-Man where you can pull yourself back and launch yourself forward. That'd be really cool. In terms of other stuff, they've had an upgrade for the Unreal Engine 4, and then they've got some big changes to combat. Ant soldiers have got a new set of attacks. They're going to do damage more with their attacks. TASE-T now do more damage with their attacks, but most armors will now block more damage. All weapons have had their damage, stamina cost and durability adjusted to fit a stricter tier-based curve. So it seems like a lot of people probably were just going for one or two weapons, where it looks like you're going to have proper progression now, so you won't necessarily be just using the easiest weapon to cheese and kill all the creatures. Bombardier beetle burning hazard and stink bug gas hazards are now much deadlier. Bombardier beetle attacks deal less initial damage, but the end result should be about the same combined with hazard damage change. Fresh defense perk now blocks twice as much gas and burning damage, and reliable friend perk now boosts revive speed by roughly double the amount. Also, they've got stuff with the interface. You'll now be able to show the progress of stuff you've got in the campfire as it's making it or it's cooking. You'll have the recycle building interface now showing how many structures will collapse if the target building is recycled, and there'll also contextual slurping text lets you know what you're going to taste. Additional icon art. They've also interactive UI will no longer briefly appear enabled when looking at disabled interaction, and the label stuff just a little bit easier. They've also made it so the games will no longer overwrite save if you're not able to currently save the game. In the world, they've got new perks to discover and unlock. It seems like there's going to be 2 new perks, and you're going to have to purchase them using the science points once you find the chips. One of them new perks is take less fall damage, so that might be useful for a lot of people, especially if you're doing a lot of hedge sort of running, and I'll go through the other one as well when I do a proper video on it. There is a new hedge chip, and that's what you'll be here really mainly to try and get hold of. You've got new colour schemes, there's a couple new scabs that I'll show off in this live stream as well, and stump behinds no longer prevent foliage from respawning, and grass will not respawn if the stump is removed. So if you want to clear a complete area completely out of the way, you've got to get rid of every single piece of stump now and it won't grow back. Ants now have a desire to take their eggs back. They're pretty much going to be much angrier. They may even come for you a lot longer if you take one of their eggs. They'll hatch even after being moved by the player, but not while in an inventory, so be careful where you store your eggs, and ant eggs no longer stack in the inventory. Larva wander range is now much smaller during the day. Mushrooms in the world will take longer to grow back, and meat now takes much longer to spoil. They're making it obviously so that it makes you have to cook meat, because right now you can just pretty much live off mushrooms. You never really have to actually go to the bother of cooking anything, so that's a good change as well. Mint chunks in the mint container should no longer spawn on top of the container. Then they've got buildings. One of the best things is structural buildings are now fully allowed to overlap with any static environment object. So that means you'll be able to kind of blend into the environment a little bit more. If there's a rock and previously you couldn't put a foundation down because the rock was kind of sticking up, well, you should be able to use that a little bit better and you should be able to place it a little bit more on side it. Still, I would like them to make it you can overlap certain pieces when you're actually building, but yeah, that's still an improvement. You can't complete blueprints in the air unless there's a supporting building underneath has been completed. That will stop situations where large structures would collapse because they were technically unsupported. Buildings can no longer be built inside of tables. They can be placed more easily on the pond flagstones. Mushroom garden spawn timer will now start when the building is built instead of when it's placed. And smoke from torches, wall sconces and campfires should now rarely penetrate floors and ceilings. They've also changed the plank and log storage deposit sound, and they've got the player giving no longer canteen animations when building a water container with a canteen in hand. Clay foundations now have double the amount of health, but they've reduced how much the pebble foundations have, but it's still going to be more than clay. I'm kind of a bit sad about that. I like the idea that clay's got more health, but I like the fact that the pebbles are pretty OP as well. So most recipes that use spiderweb, now you're going to need the processed spiderweb, and so you are going to have to use that spinning wheel quite a lot. They've improved CPU performance of bases and structures, and they've added a bunch of new stuff like weeds and bird feathers now floating in water. Some of the biggest bugs that you guys said was in the game was that free buildings attached to player built structures will no longer become out of position for clients. The game will no longer crash in specific cases when demolishing a plank or log storage building. And the Alchemist Burgle quest will now complete when accepted if the player's already analysed the target item. Kill-based perks now only track kills on enemies. It says here that traps won't be triggered for a few seconds after destruction or triggered by the third-person camera, and Tropico juice droplets should now correctly spawn from the straw of the juice box instead of from the base. Bombardier head trophy should now be much easier to place. And they've got some other smaller changes. Lots of stuff with audio as well and a few UI camera stuff. They've also put eminent practical technologies. They've removed something redacted and added something redacted. So who knows what that really is. I'm guessing it is this area here in the hedge with all of the laboratories and pulling the switches and basically finding the passwords and stuff. So there we go, that is all the patch notes, guys. If you want to play on this test server, you have to pretty much go to your Steam tab and then you'll be able to choose the beta for it in there. If you're looking to do this on Xbox in the future, the devs have said they're going to add it at some point. So yes, you will be able to test new features on an Xbox before the big update comes. Few notes of caution though, if you are playing this on the PC on Steam, you are going to have to be careful. I would say make a copy of your world save because it's been known to corrupt saves by changing from the normal game to the PTS. It's about 1.5 GB to download the PTS server, and to play the next proper game update when it arrives, you'll have to switch back to the proper version of the game as well. It's not separate. And that is the patch notes for Grounded today, guys. Hopefully I've rattled through them pretty quickly for you. As I said, I've got loads and loads of content to come. I'm going to show you guys how to use the spinner. I'm going to obviously show you guys a shortened version of my adventures through the brand new laboratory and all the brand new laboratory areas. I'll show you guys where the new scabs are and pretty much how to access some of the new perks as well and what they can do for you. So if you like Grounded content, make sure you lots to my channel. Make sure you subscribed as well for the best in survival news and info. And I'll see you right back for another Grounded video very soon.